to another episode of Where I'm From Podcast with your girl B.MARIE and my special guest host today, DEANDRE. We have a wonderful episode coming, but before we get to that, please hit that subscribe bell so you can get the notification bell with new episodes every time they come out. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and be a part of our Where I'm From community. So I'm not going to give no long accolades list because you have to go check over at episode 1 when DeAndre was my first guest on our podcast. And this person is very special to me because this is my adult child. So I love doing episodes with you. Thank you so much, DeAndre. You know I'm extra. It's all good. So we wanted to jump on here today and just have a conversation. We've been gearing up to do this episode for a while. We have done some types of videos before, did we ever do a video together? Oh, we used to do the beauty parlor with Honeybee. That's where my memory is pulling at. So there was a time in my career journey when I used to have a beauty parlor with Honeybee. The YouTube channel is still up there. There still are videos up there. And you can go over and check them out, the beauty parlor with Honeybee. But we had a fun time because we were doing like makeup videos where we were wearing different costumes and things like that. So we had a good time. But today's episode is going to be a conversation about us just talking about the child-parent dynamic in certain types of family dynamics. I guess that's the best way to say it, right? Like different types of family structures and dynamics and just things that we go through, especially growing up in the inner city lifestyle and just things that come from that. What you gotta say about that?
Nothing much, really.
You're just like, this your show.
Ain't nobody ever went on the Jennifer Hudson show and told her what to say.
I just wanted to know if you had anything to say about that. But thank you for comparing me to Jennifer Hudson.
Period, Jennifer.
So yeah, we're going to dive deep into this conversation. Some parts of it may be a trigger. So I'm definitely, at the beginning and end of this video, I will have a trigger warning. Some things may affect you in a positive way, which is more of what I hope for this show. And this show is designed to give you hope, hopefully give somebody some hope that no matter where you come from, you definitely can succeed. So we'll be talking about just different experiences that we had. Me raising DeAndre, I was a teenage mother. I had DeAndre at 19 years old. I definitely did not have the tools to be a mom. However, I feel like I did the best I can. And when you learn better, hopefully you get to choose better. So we want to be a part of the change. And let's see if I can get how long I get through this episode without crying. Because it's been a long time coming here. We'll talk more about it later in the episode. This will be a 2-part episode. And if you have any questions or any comments, please leave them in the comment section down below. And I will do my best to communicate with you all. And let's just create a community of each one teach one and use our experiences as triumph and inspiration and motivation and not for bad decision making and more pain. So please say something about that. Like, please take over the mic. Like, please. So how do you feel about what I said?
I think that's real. I mean, I think it's important to look at how your relationship, especially as a parent and as a child, especially as a child who grows up into an adult, as all children do, to look at the relationship that you have with your parents and the values that you have and how those values align, how they don't align, if they don't. But then how are you willing to compromise as an individual your values if they don't align. Because if they do, I mean, I guess you're wonderful, but we're all different people, so we all feel different things, we have different experiences, and we see things differently. And that's okay. But it's important, I think, that as you grow, both parent and child, that you look at the relationship and see how the relationship goes and how it flows and, what's going on.
Yeah. So I definitely agree. I do feel like that having you at 19 years old, I feel like there was a brother-sister dynamic for a while. I don't know what your perspective is on that. Because I have expressed before that that even though, and I learned in school too, when I was going to school for a while to be a counselor, which I did not finish, obviously, I'm a cosmetologist, but during that time, and then just being in an integrity house and things like that, I learned that you are stunted, at the age that you start, that the trauma happens, unless you, deal with that trauma. So when I think about it from that aspect, I just said to you the other day, I think, what did I say now? I'm about 40. Even though I'm 42, I feel like I'm about 40. But, emotionally, just learning myself and things like that. So having you so young, without having the tools and people there to really teach me about that, how to be a mom, I feel like we were just growing up together. So in doing that, I exposed you to whatever type of lifestyle that I was participating in at that time.
Yeah.
So I do know as a child that does affect you with just seeing, some of the things that you would have to experience. So, what do you have any memory or anything that you could talk about and how you dealt with it, and that we can move on into change in later years?
I mean, I don't have a specific memory, but I will say that I think coming from the circumstances that you've come from, which a lot of people come from, in many different ways that it manifests, but just chaos, you know what I mean? Just that chaotic environment, different things happen, you have your traumas, people have, their sets of traumas, but all in all, it contributes to a chaotic environment and a chaotic mindset. And I think that when you have children, born into that, or you had then children already, and then chaos started forming, I think that we start to neglect some of the important things in life. But that also, like I said earlier today, the way you treat your children is also a reflection of how you love yourself. And so it's when you start going into that chaos and feeding into the chaos and being a part of that chaotic environment, you're forgetting to love yourself. But you're also neglecting your children at the same time. And this goes for any parent who does this. Not saying that this is you wanting to do this. I don't think any parent wants to neglect their child. There are some parents who do want to.
Yeah, sometimes they do.
There are some parents who do, but I think majority of parents who are in chaotic environments have children because of, I'm sorry, but just the way that, life is structured in this country, there are populations that are more prone to get pregnant at certain ages, especially younger ages, and not have access to contraception, condoms, and Plan Bs, or the money to buy Plan Bs. And so I think that there are a lot of factors that participate in losing track of what the goal is, which is to raise a healthy, emotionally intelligent, and life wisdom intelligently, to raise a child. That's the goal. You had a child, you raised a child. Then, I think it's unfortunate, but I think it's one of those things that life presents itself to people as a way to overcome, if you had no adversity, life would be very boring.
And I feel like you wouldn't learn, as painful as the adversity may be, I feel like the lessons come from that if you choose to look at it in a perspective of, because I say, and I may or may not always be right about this, but this is just what I say. You have two choices. You can choose this way or that way. And this way is choosing to look at things in a more positive way, or choosing to look at things like in a more negative way. And choosing to look at it like a lesson, or choosing to look at it like is, something that's being done to you,
evil,
instead of for you, like instead of working for you. Sometimes, like, things come in like the worst packages, but I've come to realize that it's because of decision making for me. Decision making, like you said, having sex unprotected or getting pregnant, not being able to have contraceptive, but that person made the decision to have sex. So then a baby comes. So, we have these children and we don't have the tools, like you said. And then we're basically growing up with our children, or not. Our children will grow up and surpass us, which is the goal for me. Like, and which is what we'll talk about in a few minutes, because that's just like pretty much what happened, which I'm very grateful for. And I don't ever want to feel like, the children that are being raised in toxic environments, fighting and, drug dealing, prostitution, or domestic violence or whatever, cannot grow up and have good lives, even if the parents don't grow up.
Right.
Like, I'm in a situation to where I'm learning, and I've learned a lot, and I've healed a lot. Sometimes the parents don't, but the kids still surpass that. Yeah. And that's them choosing to, because I feel like you would have, even if I never grew up, you probably would have still grew up. So, and like, we'll have a healthy life, because you were doing that before I was doing, like, you were doing that simultaneously while I was doing that too. But yeah, I feel like the kids will definitely surpass their parents if they choose to. But we got to continue to try to break generational cycles.
That's fair. I think that with children versus adults who are presented with these choices, children have not been battered and beaten down to the point to where they've lost hope. I think a lot of people lose hope as they get older. That, I keep going on, my life keeps going on this way, things are not changing, even though they have they're presented with opportunities to change and make different choices, but, they're not taking them. And so as time goes on, it's hard to see past the darkness. So
yeah, sometimes it is hard to see past the darkness. Like, it really is. And when I have those days, I just be like, dang, please, God, take me out of this. Like, for real, universe work in my favor or something. But I always think joy and pain is working together simultaneously.
And then also, you have to also think about it like this. Nothing happens for no reason. So it's like, if you're feeling this way, you just got to ask yourself why.
Yep. Yeah, so some of the experiences that I had when you were a child was, well, first teenage pregnancy, having you at 19. First losing my mother, your grandmother, at 15. About to be 16. And then having a child with... having a child with a person who wasn't equipped to be a father, and I wasn't equipped to be a
who
mother.
Already
had a bunch of kids. I've said this before, that I take ownership of that decision. I think, do you remember when I apologized to you? I said to you that I wouldn't have you, but I wish I could have chosen a different father.
I think this is how I take it. It would mean a lot more if I was the only child. Like, by him. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, my only dad left. That man has many kids.
Oh, so he gets a pass because he got mad kids?
No, it's not that he gets a pass. It's that it just doesn't. It's not as well. If he done it with everybody else, what is gonna be different?
So
now?
I definitely have owned that. I told you that was my ridiculous stage.
So it's one to me as a child. I'm just like
what was you expecting, Mom?
Because I'm gonna be honest. If I had put myself in that situation, I really can't say nothing. But that's just how I look at it. So that's why, as a child,
that's how I look at it. That's exactly how I look at it. Well,
I ain't expecting too much.
That's exactly how I look at it. That's why, no judging. Get your coins, honey. But I never went the child support route for me. Because nobody ain't got time to waste.
I get your coins, honey, but I ain't never did. I never did that.
I never did that because I just didn't want to waste my time because of the fact that I own that decision. Like that, I just feel like that situation was a catalyst for me to, one, have some type of connection to a community. Because my relationship with him and us as a unit
was the group
gave me some type of
this
cred.
The group and we run the hood.
Yes, at the time, because at the time in that type of lifestyle, your dad was the man at the time. No shade.
No tea, no shade, no pink lemonade.
Look, it took me till you was 19 to say anything about your dad bad. When I had to sit you down or something and tell you, listen. But, because we never was on it like that. We just kind of, just accepted it for what it was. So I got to raise you. When you were a small child, we went through the situation where I lost custody because I was arrested. And then, a few times. I'm so glad we can laugh about this shit now. It's not funny.
It's funny to me. I think, okay, if I have one, can I please say this?
Please take the mic.
This is one thing I do think about.
I got my comfort pillow.
Often. This is so funny about how you and my dad was talking through the toilets in jail.
Oh, yeah. How fucking...
That is crazy, diabolical.
But how toxic is it to be talking about custody of your child
through
toilets at the county jail? That's crazy. So for anybody who doesn't have no idea what I'm talking about, good for you. But I'm gonna tell you, the female pod was down here, up here, and the male pod was down here. And then you see people in passing when you're going back and forth through the windows to the yard. And somebody must have got word back to your dad that, oh my God, this is funny as hell. Now. And I was in jail.
I wonder what that looked like. Did they maybe I saw your baby mama?
I don't know, but then they go in.
Which one?
They go to a toilet in the cell and they tell whoever's in there to go find me and bring me to that cell.
Not an operation. Period. They had that thing down. They knew exactly what to do. I like that.
When I went to the cell, it was your dad in the toilet talking about what was happening with you since I was arrested. And I said, my dad, Papa, was taking custody of you and whatever. He had, was nothing he could do about it. We in jail. And I had full custody.
Didn't you tell me that he was trying to talking some gimme custody? He
gonna have his day in court. Some whatever shit he's talking about.
Yeah, that day when they tell your ass to go down to the prison.
Yeah, it's fine.
not to go up there and go grab custody.
We had that situation, and then after being arrested a bunch of times and just having a lot of chaos around you, and the way that I covered it up in my mind, which was not real, was I always had a nice place for us to live. Mm-hmm. Always had a car until we lived in Newark. Like always.
That was humbling.
Every birthday parties, like basically I was trapping. So I had money to do whatever I wanted to do, but being present was like not really an option for that type of life, because when I was around, I would sleep a lot because I would drink or, just be up all night or for days. Just trying to
Damn. For days?
or just try to have
It really would be like that.
so you overcompensate financially a lot. So whatever, whatever.
I remember one too many Rockaware jackets.
Did you ever have any Coogee shit?
Mm-mm, I don't remember.
I didn't know if I put you in any I know I definitely used to do the Jordans, Air Force.
And for like 12 years, I said no. And then I was like, well, I mean, they're kind of cute. Actually, no. It took me like 20
so many
years.
Rockaware jackets, extravagant birthday parties at bounce places and
Bounce
wherever else.
I remember 2 birthday parties being there. I remember, I think 2 parties being at Titi's house, and that's it. So if you spent any money on any parties before them 4 parties, I remember, I'm so sorry.
This is a lesson for y'all that don't be throwing extravagant parties for your
no
kids
kid
when
that
they
won't
so
remember it.
young.
Don't go to Disney. Don't go to Disney until they ask to go to Disney.
10 years old.
Yes, they need to be cognizant of where they at. You need to ask them where you at, and they need to say the street name, the address, and the zip code.
Yeah, so I lost custody when you were small, fought to get custody back, and you did some parenting classes, was still trapping. And then fast forward to...
You went to parenting class? Sorry. What did they, like, what was that like? I didn't know that.
What do you mean?
They made you go to parenting
At Rainbow Place.
Oh, okay.
Parenting, anger management, I don't think they put me in any type of like rehab stuff at that time, because I only did the whole rehab thing for probation. We'll get to that. So yeah, like during that time, I don't think DEANDRES had recommended.
This is an action-packed episode.
Yeah, it is, because we hilarious. So I don't think that we did, so I did that briefly when DeAndre was young, got him back out of foster home. And then just continue in the chaos, because that's all I really knew. Because when you get arrested, bailed out of jail quick, even things like DEANDRES cases, sometimes when you in certain types of inner city environments, like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's hard for you to choose something else when there's nothing else. So, and that's not an excuse. It just is reality. When there's nothing else, it's hard for you to choose. I didn't have people or role models.
There is no option. It's not hard for you to choose. I have no option.
There was no option. The option came in 2010. So what did that make you, 9?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So at that time,
Y'all heard this war? I got asthma.
You heard what?
I said, do y'all hear this war? I have asthma.
What war?
All this trauma you were recollecting. It takes a toll.
Are you having a hard time?
No.
All right.
Sometimes I just get a draft and I can't breathe.
All right, well, help yourself breathe. Don't not breathe on me. So in 2010, we went to jail and couldn't come out of jail that time. So that's when the real journey really started.
So let me ask you this question. Did, like, when you were in the courtroom and you heard that verdict, is that like when like life really like hit you in the face? Like it was just like, bitch.
Nah.
No?
Nah.
Wait a minute. Okay, so what was that moment? Like, what was that like for you? When was that moment when you were like, damn, I think I kind of need to do something.
When I went to Integrity House, and it was like a facility where it's in Newark, New Jersey. Shout out to all my Integrity House people.
Shout out to Newark, period.
Yeah.
The NWK.
So Newark was an evolution time for me and you.
Yeah.
I went to Newark by way of Atlantic County probation because when I was arrested at that time, so much stuff had happened leading up to that probation was like, we don't want her back in Atlantic County. So they, at the end of me facing prison and choosing not to go to prison, I chose drug court. And with that choice, drug court is just like basically like a really extensive probation system that the first part of that is that you have to go into a treatment program. So because I wasn't considered necessarily an addict, even though I was addicted to getting money, I'm still addicted to getting money, just in a different way now.
Okay.
But wait, I lost my train of thought. I was addicted to, and at that point, I had became addicted to e-pills too. Like, I had tried e-pills for, periodically for years, this and that. But towards the end, after all that, like a lot of shit that happened, it just was a lot. And I started taking e-pills a lot.
Like just for fun?
Just to function. Yeah, at the end, I would say for about a good 3-4 months. So I really feel like me going to jail was like spiritual.
Okay.
Like how I feel about everything that I've been through.
Like the isolation?
Taking me out of the streets. Like that just everything, we believe like everything is like written, right? Like stuff happens the way it's supposed to happen or the way it's
But we have
happen.
the power to change our destiny.
Okay, we could elaborate on that.
Well, I mean, things happen for a reason, but life presents us with choices, and through our choices, we change our destiny. Yes.
Okay. So maybe everybody gets multiple options.
Yeah.
Like the road less traveled.
I will say, you mentioned, there's this choice or that choice.
Yeah, two.
But I think there's more than two.
Yeah, there probably is. Yeah, because there's multiple things that you could choose.
Life is not so dichotomous. It's not this or that. It's this and that.
I feel like I'm thinking more in terms of positive and negative.
That's
positivity
fair.
Or negative. So under those umbrellas, there's a lot of choices.
Yes.
So, because I'm thinking always positive and negative frequency. So, yeah, I guess that's good. We got some clarity on that. Because that statement is attached to this way positive, this way negative. So you could choose from under those. Is it a middle?
I would say.
Yeah.
There's always gray areas.
That could be both negative and positive.
Yeah. It just depends on the situation that you're in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that overall, and what we're talking about in terms of like, do I choose to sell drugs or choose to get better to change my life and the life of my family, then I think that, we would choose the latter.
Yeah. So I went to Integrity House. I stood in Atlanta County Jail for 3 months, going back and forth to court. And then ultimately I chose drug court, went to Essex County, because Atlanta County was like, we're not giving her drug court here. She can take drug court. She go to Essex County. And then there I went. So you went with Pop-Up. I wrote Pop-Up a letter when I was in jail, telling him like everything that was going on, being very transparent and asked for help. So he took custody of you, which I'm super grateful for.
Same.
And during that time, I was able to interact with you a lot. He brought you up there. Well, first 20 days, I wasn't able to interact with nobody. So back to your question. got real for me when I started to come off the e-pills. I got to, in jail, you know what I mean? I really did, all I could focus on was really like if I was going to Clinton, which was prison, or what was happening, because I was facing like 10 years.
Clinton County?
No, Clinton prison.
Oh.
Yeah, it's in New Jersey. I think it's in Clinton, New Jersey. I think up there somewhere. But just focusing on that. So when I ended up, everything started to just like be solidified on what path I was taking. I went to Integrity House, and then they started making me do group.
Well,
they started making me do group, and then in group and therapy and like different, they were bringing like different practitioners to do different things like yoga, meditation. They would have somebody doing inner child healing. They had like somebody doing a session where you have to sit across from people that have died, and you want to like confront, like you have to sit across, like basically like they would put you in an exercise where you're in front of me and I'm in front of you. You're your grandmother, my mother, or whoever you want to confront but can't confront no more or talk to. And basically just tell them how you feel about everything and just like get it out. Just very emotional stuff. So the reason why it didn't hit me till then, because I feel like in the courtroom, I still had a certain type of gangster mentality. Like, we get money till we die.
in prison.
Entitled and like spoiled and like narcissistic and all of these characteristics that's like, I always get out of jail. But now there's no bail, so it took a minute to hit me.
Oh, you didn't get no bail?
No, because it was a probation violation.
Oh.
The last one was a probation violation.
The microphone.
Oh.
I'm gonna cover it up. Yeah.
The last one was a probation violation, so they kept me jail, no bail.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's when it really started to hit me. Like, you know, once I got into Integrity House and I was able to get some regular clothes after 21 days and start doing that group therapy stuff, then they made me the freaking chief of the house. But so I learned responsibility there, structure. That's really what opened me up to like be able to like, you know, just be able to do some of what I do now. You know, my journey with managing people and all of that stuff, that gave me some experience with that. And then fast forward, we went to the halfway house after Integrity House. You still was just coming up there on visitations. So I just want to touch a little bit on how you felt, and you can be totally transparent. We already know what's up. Like how you felt, because I remember, I'm gonna leave it at this. I remember you asking me like, how you in jail? Like, even though you was a kid, you probably saw some stuff. I feel like I did a lot of covering up. So it's like at that point, I did a lot of covering up. So at that point, like, you knew like I wasn't coming home for a while. We didn't have a date or anything in mind. Like, how did that make you feel?
I mean, I don't think that as a kid, the severity of the situation really hit me. I'm gonna be quite frank.
You was unbothered.
I think it really was just at a point to where, like, at that point, I'm gonna be honest, all I ever, like, I remembered was going back and forth. I would live with you, live with someone else, live with you, live with someone else.
Yeah.
It was always that back and forth. So it was like,
it was like normal. I'm sorry to laugh.
No, but I mean, it was kind of normal. And so I don't think that's why.
For a while.
Then there was that one lady who was the sister of that man that you was messing with. I lived with her, and then I think she got tired of me.
Like a week.
Yeah, but it was horrible, I think. I know she didn't want
horrible.
me. I know. Yeah, no, she didn't want me there.
Was you abused?
No.
Oh, I didn't think so.
But you know that feeling of like, you know.
Yeah. So like emotionally, it was rough.
Yeah, but like there was like, I don't really think too much of it.
Yeah, I was trying to figure it out. That's when I wrote pop up the letter.
That's fair.
Yeah, because I had no idea what I was going to do until he took custody of you.
I'm glad he did.
I'm glad he did too.
But it was pretty normal. So that it didn't really hurt me. I mean, but there were times where it was like, you know, oh, blah, blah, blah. But
yeah, and you brought me like letters and stuff and made me little pictures and things. So then fast forward, we got custody back of you in the women's transitional housing that we stayed in. That was a really nice place. That building, you remember that building?
yes.
Yeah, that building was a really nice. We lived with Miss Linda too. You remember her? And then it was that white lady with her daughter.
Miss Linda.
Angela.
Yeah, I remember Angela.
The white lady with her daughter. But Miss Linda's the older lady. Let me show you. This Miss Linda right here. Shout out to Miss Linda. She texts me all the time.
She lived in the place?
She either lived in the building. I feel like at one point we lived with her. Like it was like a 4-bedroom, like huge, like lofty type.
Yeah.
On High Street. It was fancy. And the reason why it was so fancy like that is because the money people, they would keep it like real nice for the money people. You remember her?
Yeah, but I don't remember living with her.
She lived in that building for sure.
Did she work there?
No, she was a resident.
Oh.
It wasn't just, they let, you know what, I don't think she
remember.
lived in our apartment.
Did
They
she
let
live
her.
Banana Pudding?
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was designed to be women and children.
Yeah.
But they had a couple apartments for people that didn't have children because they came through Integrity House. Like they didn't want to just put you out.
Yeah.
You know, that was a place where we got jobs.
You paid rent.
So during my second part, when you still was with Papa, that's when I went to cosmetology school.
Yeah.
And I went to cosmetology school and then was working little odd jobs or whatever, doing the skincare little trial things, did some catering stuff with that guy. That Mary Kay lady introduced me to her man, and you know I did some jobs for him. And then ended up going to cosmetology school, graduating, and then getting a job at Bath and Body Works, and then little odd jobs doing hair until the wax den. But the wax den, it really turned it up for us. We was able to get a nice apartment. So, but then we got custody back. I got custody back of you. And then eventually, after like 2 years of the whole time, we moved into the apartment. So I will tell you along the lines too, just making different choices of guys that I dated, people that I had friendships.
You know who I'm thinking of.
Gerald.
Yes, girl.
Let me sip the tea, honey. All right, so on the note of that relationship, we are actually going to end this part of this episode because it's going to be a 2-part. And be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and hit that notification bell so you can get notifications when all new episodes come out. And I really feel like episode 2 going to be juicier than 1. So make sure you get off this video and wait for that episode to come out and enjoy. We love you. Bye.